doing, we're using option trading, right? The reason we're using option trading is because we found a lot of success in being able to do so. So we're going to be using the option trading API. All right, beautiful. Option trading is now live. What we are going to do is this is the API documentation. So what is an API documentation? It's basically the instruction manuals, right, for how to use the particular API. And what is an API? API is application protocol interface, I think. What is an API? And explain like I'm 12. All right, so think of an API like a restaurant. You are the customer, and the kitchen is where all the cooking ingredients, the hard part, happens. The waiter is the person to make sure your order to the kitchen and brings you the food back. Now, imagine you never go into the kitchen. You don't need to know how the food is cooked, and you just tell the waiter what you want, and the waiter brings it to you. The waiter equals the API. API equals the application programming interface. It's basically a messenger that lets two computers or apps talk to each other without needing to know what's happening behind the scenes, right? So what we're going to be using is Alpaca's API in order to get option market data. In addition to that, in order to submit orders, in order to get everything that we need for our algo trading bots, right? So now we're going to go to API reference, right? And this is where the fun happens. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to cursor. And again, with inside cursor, we're going to be using Claude Code. But what I need to do, I need to grab, I'm going to be using 4.5 Claude Code, Anthropic Model 4.5 Sonnet. So what we're going to do is open up our option baby folder. Oh, I lied. Going to open up our option algo bots folder. We're going to do it in here. So give me a second. Let this load. And these are where all of our option algo bots are, right? From Second Chance all the way down to Whammy Baby, right? All of these bots trade either SPY, QQQ, IWM. SPY is the S&P 500, the top 500 companies within the New York Stock Exchange. QQQ is the top 100 companies, top 100 tech companies within the NASDAQ. IWM is the top 2,000 small cap companies within the Russell 2000. We also have XSP, which is mini SPY, right? So it's like the S&P 500, but it's the mini version of it. So like I said, we're going to be using the Claude 4.5 model in order to do this work, to go through all of the Alpaca documents. So what I want to do is, what do you know about Alpaca trading without looking at our code base? Advise via TLDR. Too long, didn't read. That's what TLDR means. Via TLDR, using only 328 total tokens for your output response. All right, what I want to do, and then we're going to make another trades folder, trades, and then we're going to make another connection. All right, beautiful. All right, so AlbiKR is a commission-free stock and crypto trading API for algorithmic traders and developers. The key features is REST API. We already talked about what an API is, right? It's basically a messenger that allows our computer to talk to Alpaca in order to submit trades, to get real data, right? To do everything we need in order to algorithmically trade, right? So what is an algorithm, right? An algorithm is basically a set of rules and instructions that allows our bot to be able to buy or sell a particular asset, right? And the assets that we're using, like we said before, is SPY, QQQ, IWM, XPS, right? We're also going to be bringing in a few others that's a kind of cool, but we'll get to that point once we're setting up, once we're to the point of like switching over our bots. So right now, again, we're going over Alpaca. Paper trading. Really, what is paper trading? Paper trading is being able to test your strategy on dummy money or fake money just to make sure that everything works before we trade with live money, right? Support stocks, options, and cryptos, market data, order management. Common uses is algorithmic trading bots. This is right here. Portfolio automation, back testing strategies, and real-time market monitoring. Right. So we have our what is an API? So we talked about what is an API. The keys, right, is what gives us access to that particular API. So this API that we're going to be working with is Alpaca, right? And I already have our API keys in our .m file. So you don't share your keys with anybody. So I'm not going to show you my API keys, right? Because you don't share that with anybody. So that's something you want to keep completely secret, right? So I'm also going to add in a prompt here just to make sure that Cloud Code doesn't share that either. All right, so let's keep going. And what the language that we're going to be using is Python, right? That's the language of choice. I mean, yeah, we can use C++, you can use Java. Alpaca works with many different languages, but the language we're going to be using is Python. All right, beautiful. Oh, what I also want to show you before we get started is I'm also going to be using the Alpaca GitHub, right? And the one that we're going to be using is PY. PY is Python. And I've already cloned this over. So if y'all want this, I'll go ahead and add it in the comments so you can have it. And the reason I'm using this Alpaca GitHub, right? It's like a cheat sheet, right? In order for us to be able to go through all the examples. So yes, we're going to be using the API documents as well, but we're also going to be using Alpaca GitHub once we're going through this. So you're going to see how this is going to work well for what we're doing here. All right, beautiful. So let's go back here. See, we already downloaded it. It's right here. I cloned it. Excuse me, it's right here. All right, perfect. Now what we want to do is create a script. A script is a file that allows us to be able to test, work, or process certain things, right? This script is a script to test the connection of Alpaca for our Algo, for our options Algo bots, and also get SPY, QQQ, IWM, and XSP data. We want to see calls and puts. Like we're looking calls and puts to make sure we're able to first connect, then get the data we need. We are going to be doing a few different examples for this. Do not jump forward. Here is the API keys, and all the information you'll need for Alpaca is in the .m file. Remember the little note. We are let's get this done to ensure we can connect and get the option data we need for the ETFs. What is an ETF? An ETF is an exchange traded fund, right? So when you think of ETF, right, think of a quilt, and each one of these quilts represents, oh, you know what I should have done? I folded. Hold on. Before, use as an example for what we're going to be doing, use grep and awk terminal. Grep and awk are just different ways to search a file without having to read everything. So what's going to happen is that they're going to go through the file, they're going to read everything in order to process it, right? So grep and awk, read everything in order to understand it. Terminal commands to understand before creating, then create the file here. Here we're going to call it, no, I'm just going to put it in connections. All right, beautiful. And we're going to put auto so that it can auto create the files without us having to accept it. All right, beautiful. Oh, I said I was going to share the Alpaca GitHub. So I'm going to put the Alpaca GitHub in the comments. So if y'all want it, it's right there in the comments. All right, beautiful. So what's going on right now is hula bullying. What the hell? Hula ballooing. Hula ballooing. Oh, I didn't get it. Where was that? Can y'all? That was hula ballooing, right? Not hula ballooing. Hula ballooing. That was interesting. Hula ballooing. That was an interesting word. Sometimes I like to take these words and being able. Oh fuck, that was quick. I'm talking too much. My fault. My fault. All right, come on. Thank you. Open up a new terminal. We need to get to that folder. So in order to get to that folder, we're going to hit CD and then copy the path to that folder. And then I also need to get the conda environment. And then conda environment is like a garage for all of the Python packages that we're going to need for option trading. So we put it in option baby. To how you know we're not in the conda environment, you see it says base here. So we're going to enter. All right, now we're in the conda environment. It says option baby. Beautiful. What I want to do, let's install all of the packages that we're going to need. Give me a second. All right, beautiful. Here it is. Let's go ahead and install it. Now we have all the packages we need. Now we can go back to Cloud Code. Let you do that. And then what I'm going to do is grab the path. All right, now let's go test it. So let's see how well this works. Connections. Python, because it's a Python file. All right, beautiful. Our connection was successful. We're getting option data across IWM. All right, we're getting option data. I want to make this a little bit more comprehensive. And I'm going to have Claude Code create a file for each one of these ETFs, right? Because here is super basic. So we're connected. We're able to see how much we have in our paper trading account, how much cash, how much buying power. We're able to connect. Beautiful. Option data is initialized. We're able to get the SPY data. And what is the difference between a call and a put, right? So a call is when we're bullish on the market. What do bulls have? Bulls have horns, right? So this is when we think the price is going to go up, right? And a put is when we're bearish on the market. What do bears normally do? Walk on their paws, right? Bear down. So this is when we're bearish on the market. We think the asset is going to go down, right? So that's the difference between a call and a put, right? So as you can see, we have 5,066 calls, 10,132 puts, about the same calls and puts here, about the same calls and puts here. For mini SPY, we have a little bit more puts than calls, just like SPY. All right, beautiful. So we see that works. All right. It worked. Great job. Now, what we want to do is break it down further. Create a script for each asset ETF that shows the strike prices across a few OTM out of the money and ITM option prices. Out of the money and the money, right? So out of the money are going to be option contracts that are further away from the strike price. What is the strike price? The strike price is the price that we think the option contract is going to be at the end of the expiration date, right? So out of the money are further away from the strike price, and the money are closer to the strike price. Delta, excuse me, option prices, and make sure we see a few different ones as well as calls and puts. What I'm going to do is, you know what I forgot to do? Let's go back to our Alpaca API doc, and then what we're doing is we're getting options and then option data, So not conditional. Returns the mapping conditions between the codes and names. We don't need that. The latest quotes. Get the latest multi-quote endpoints. Provide the latest bid and ask price for each given contract. So we're going to do that. So what I'm going to do is just copy this. See. And then what we're also going to do is click on a Python because that's what we're using, right? And then we're going to copy this example here. All right, we're going to make this super redundant for Claude Code so there's no issues. So let's see what else we can get. Our snapshot, what a snapshot gives us. Snapshot endpoint provides the latest trade, the latest quote, and the Greeks for each given symbol. So we're going to need that. So let's go ahead and grab our snapshot. Beautiful. Let's paste that in there. And again, we're using Python. So we clicked on Python. And then we're going to copy this. All right. What else do we need? Option chain data, right? So option chain endpoint provides the latest trade, the latest quotes, the latest Greeks for each contract symbol of the underlying symbol. All right. So let's go ahead and grab this as well. Beautiful. And then we're going to paste. And then we're also going to grab the Python example. All right. And then latest trade. Kind of don't need that. No. All right. So what we grabbed was the latest quotes, snapshot, and then option chain. All right. So let's go ahead and go back to Claude Code. This is what we want to include and make sure we see how comprehensive each one of these. Oh, my fault. Each one of these endpoints are when you create the respective files for each ETF. Beautiful. So we just sent that over. And if y'all do have any questions while we are going through this, please don't be afraid to ask. My name is Creative. Beautiful. So it's getting all of, I just gave it a few examples from the endpoint. Now it's referencing, excuse me, those examples with the GitHub. So I love the fact that it did that. So we can see, okay, how can I get this? These are a few examples. Let's go look at it. Historical. So it's on Alpaca, his data, historical, and then options. So Alpaca, data, and then historical, and then we clicked on options, right? So this is the example that it's looking at, right? So these are the libraries, the Python libraries that is going to grab everything from when using Alpaca, right? So the enum, typing, Alpaca common enums, the Alpaca data, option data. So this is the REST client for interacting with Alpaca market data for option endpoint, right? Initiates the historical. Okay, we just got one that finished, so I can shut up now. Let's come over here. We have SPY. So let's grab that. Now it's creating one for QQQ. While it creates the one for QQQ, let's go ahead and run the one for SPY. Python. All right, I messed up there. Let me just grab the entire path. All right, get off my net. Connections, SPY. All right, beautiful. All right, let's come back over. Let's come back up. All right, so the current SPY price, let's reference this. And what this is trading view. Trading view is where I go sometimes when I need to create algos as well. It provides us the live market data and it's completely free, right? So whenever you want to look at charts, whenever you want to go through different assets and being able to see how they're performing currently when the market is open, you can use trading view, right? So I'm looking at the 1 minute chart. So what that represents is each one of these candles represents 1 minute of action between buyers and sellers. If you're looking at a red candle, that normally means that the bears are in control, right? The sellers are pushing the price down. If we're looking at just turn green, I was just going to use that as an example. So if we're looking at a green candle, that means the bulls are in control. What their aim is to be able to push the price up, right? Now we have a few different candles here, right? So you see these wicks that are pushing out of the candles. When you see a wick like this, right? So that means that the price was rejected at the resistance level. All resistance is letting you know is that the bulls or the buyers, right, are trying to make new highs. Or if you see a wick that's pointing out of a red candle, that lets us know rejection. Perfect example here, right? Rejection, where the sellers are, okay, the sellers are trying to push the price lower, but it's being rejected. So it's trying to push it past support levels, right? You see the bulls just took over. So that's what's up. All right, so let's come back to our Alpaca example. So what we just had Claude Code do is create a script in order for us to test the SPY option data, right? So it pulled in, oh, that's right, I went here, so we can compare the price. All right, so this is kind of old because it was 11:13. It's 11:15 right now, so I was talking too much. All right, so we see the SPY price is kind of shooting up right now. So 681.62 is 681.59, but as you can see, it's moving currently live. The number of calls we have is 5,066. The number of puts almost doubled, 10,000, and we just talked about what calls or puts are. The at the money strike, meaning that's what the current price is, 682, and the money is a little bit further away, 679, 680, 681. Out of the money is a little bit further from the current price, 682, 683, 684. That's for calls. The same thing for puts. Here's the latest quotes, right? So the latest quotes, the bid, and then the ask, and then the spread, and then the timestamp. We love it. And then this is the, I forget what it's called, cusp. Yeah, that's the cusp. And the cusp is basically the that's the name or the label, right, in order for us to be able to find the particular quote and that particular contract information. All right, and then the option snapshot. Again, we have the quote, the bid, the ask, the number of trades that happen. Okay, we get Greeks as well. That's what's up. So this endpoint gives us Greeks. The delta tells us how sensitive this particular option contract is when SPY moves up a dollar or down a dollar. So what this is saying, a delta of 0.47 for every $1 movement, we're going to see this particular option contract move $47, right? Delta also tells us probability of profit, right? So if we take the 0.4732, multiply that by 100, we're going to get 47%. Meaning that this particular option contract with the strike of 682, that would have cost us 193, right, give or take, is going to have a 47% chance of being profitable. Gamma lets us know how fast delta is going to move. Theta is how much you're losing per day, and Vega is the volatility. IV is going to let us know how expensive the option contract is. Hey there, how we doing? Pavin or Parveen, my fault. Hope all is well. Welcome to the channel. If you do have any questions, please let me know. My name is Creative, and what we're doing right now is going through Alpaca's API documents for Algo option trading. So right now we created a script for SPY, and I'm going through what the data we've gotten back from that. So if you do have any other questions, let me know as we're going through this. Welcome to the channel. I do appreciate you for being here. All right, the option data, the Greeks, the IV. So IV is going to let us know how expensive the option contract, right? Low IV, I'm a beginner. All right, what language do you use primarily? I like to use Python, right, when it comes to being able to build algorithmically trading bots. And we're going to go through that, how we now build the bots. Right now, we're going through the broker. So Alpaca is a broker that you can use in order to trade, right, algorithmically. So the reason I like to use Alpaca is because, number one, let me come back here. Hold on. Let me come back here. Let's come back here. And then, beautiful. The reason I like to use Alpaca is because it's commission free for stocks and options and crypto, right? And for trading algorithmically, right? So what it provides us is real-time market data. It allows us, oh, how can you start? I would say just follow us. It depends where in the part of the process you are. I use Python, I use Claude Code, and within this, I'm using Cursor, right? So what I would recommend is just follow us. I go through this step by step on how to, excuse me. So I would say you can follow us, and we're going to go through the entire process on how to be able to algorithmically trade. And I'm a beginner just like you, right? So I would say I'm not an expert at this, but what I would say is that I'm consistent in being able to bring y'all new information. So this is one of the bits of new information that I'm excited to be able to bring to you. Does that make sense? So primarily I use AI. Primarily I use Python, and primarily I use Claude Code, right, to be able to do this. But I'm telling you, we go through this step by step, and we hold your hand to be able to go through all of this, right? All right. So the next reason I like to use Alpaca is because paper trading and live trading, it supports stocks, options, and crypto. It gives us market data, and that's what we're checking right here, right? We're checking the market data for SPY, and SPY is the S&P 500. How can I connect? I would say just follow us because I stream every day on Twitch or YouTube, right? And right now I'm going through how to set up a broker account, and the broker that we're using is Alpaca. So what I would say is just follow us because I'm very detailed on how we break down being able to create a strategy, how to backtest a strategy, how to create a bot. So you learn everything here on this channel. So I would say subscribe. Every time I'm live, just make sure you're asking questions, you're tuned in. We go through step by step on how to create different bots. If you go through and check out my channel, there's a couple of different other videos that I go through step by step on how to create different algo bots. So I would say just follow us. In a bit, I don't know when, but I am going to create a Discord. So thank you, Concept of Plans. You did drop that seed in my head. Pause. So I am going to create a Discord where we can be able to collect a collab a little bit more. But for right now, I would say just follow us. I show you everything step by step on YouTube. If I'm not on YouTube, I'm on Twitch. But primarily the time, I'm loving the vibe that I'm getting from YouTube, right? So like I do hear chill a lot. So we're going through this step by step. You're going to see how I go from testing out each endpoint, and then once we test out the endpoint, we're going to be able to get see what kind of data we're getting from it, right? So again, what I'm testing out right now is Alpaca, and I want to see how much or how comprehensive is the SPY option data, right? So that's what we're looking at, and from what I'm seeing right now, it is a bit comprehensive both on the calls and puts, and we're looking at different option contracts. So let's look at QQQ. And QQQ is the top 100 tech companies within the NASDAQ. No problem. No problem. Like I said, just follow along, man. I'm in your shoes too. So I want to claim like I'm an expert. I'm not. I am still very, very new at this and being able to algo trade. It wasn't until April of this year that I picked up trading. And the way that and when I started, I wanted to be an AI agent software engineer, right? I just wanted to create AI agents. And it wasn't until July of this year that I found algo trading. When I started algo trading, I was doing market making. So I started being able to, it was cryptocurrency, right? And I did Bitcoin, a little bit of Solana, but primarily was Bitcoin. But it wasn't until like I found, oh, there's a little bit better way to do this, and that's being able to trade options. And options algorithmically, right? So I fell in love with it, and I started streaming about 5 weeks ago my process. So it's not to say that it is the best process, but it's a process that I've seen a bit of success in, right? I also want to preface, this is not financial advice. If you do seek financial advice, please make sure you talk to a financial advisor, a certified financial planner, or those that are licensed in order to assist you. This is merely educational. All right, beautiful. So let's keep going. So we see QQQ. How I start my engineering. What kind of engineer you want to be, right? Let me put the question back on you, right? Like when I started, I wanted to be an AI engineer, right? So I wanted to create AI agents. That's where I saw a lot of action, a lot of movement going to. But so I know Python very well, and how I learned was with, I'm not going to hold you, shameless plug, W3 Schools is how I learned how to code Python, right? In addition to W3 Schools, I learned through instrumental engineering. I don't know what that is. Instrumental engineering. Instrumental engineer is to design, develop, and maintain the instruments or control systems that monitor and automate industrial processes. These engineers use sensors to measure variables like temperature, pressure, and flow to ensure that the machinery and process operates efficiently, safely, and reliably. It is a multidisciplinary field combining both electrical, mechanical, and computer engineering to manage and control processes in industries like manufacturing, oil, gas, pharmaceuticals, and aerospace. That's a bit outside of my depth. um, I know software engineering. I know code. I know so the software engineering part, maybe, like barely, maybe, or the computer engineering part, like maybe I can help you. But electrical and mechanical, no, that's outside of my depth. That's not me. But how I learned was through W3 schools to be able to learn Python. There's also different languages here: Java, SQL, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, right? But I spent some time with Python. I also took a series of boot camps from Udemy and your best friend YouTube Academy. But I want to come in an AI engineer. Oh yeah, AI, Udemy and YouTube. I'll try to find the AI Udemy course that I took because I really like that instructor. He did a great job on being able to really break it down so I can understand the process. So I'll find the one that I took and I'll share it with you. But again, I don't get paid for this. They're not a sponsor or anything like that. This is just completely free game that I'll pass on to you and what helped me, right? But again, they're good. I'm not going to hold you, but you're going to need to do some work yourself in order to assist you in order to get to that AI engineering bag. All an AI engineer is just a coder, right? You just have to be able to figure out like what language. Primarily, AI engineers are going to be using Python. So that's why I've learned Python, and I know that very well. Another thing AI engineers are going to need to know are these different. So there's LangChain, there's Crew AI. I talked about this before. There's Llama Index. So these are the different workflows, right, that you can use. Or so AI is the car, right? And this is, or the engine, excuse me. And this is the car that you could put the engine in, right? So these are three different platforms that you can use to be able to create AI agents. And primarily I use when I was creating them is Crew AI, because I thought this was the most simplest, straightforward way to be able to create AI agents. And I'm going to bring some of that here with y'all, but lately I just kind of been stuck on algo trading. So I will bring this here with y'all where we use Crew AI or LangChain or Llama Index and figure out which AI agent is the best. So I can do that, and I know that very well. But lately it's just been algo trading. So, but I am going to get to that, right? So be cautious and beware. That's something that is definitely going to come. All right, so let's get back to our Alpaca data. If you do have any other questions, let me know, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. All right, so let's keep going. So let's look at the QQQ data. Oh, hold on. Let me just pull up QQQ. Invesco. All right, QQQ. This is not it. Goodness gracious. QQQ. Lead. Series 1. Beautiful. 618. All right. 619. I was okay. I'm like 5 minutes late. My fault. I talk a lot. I'm sorry. All right. So we see brought in the QQQ data. There's a little bit more parity to the calls and puts. Now, the reason you're going to see SPY having a lot more contracts is because SPY is the most liquid one. What does liquidity mean? It's easier to be able to buy and sell without having a risk of being able to hold the option contract, right, without it expiring worthless. So this is the strike analysis for the calls and puts. Here's the latest quotes. All right, so we see it is comprehensive, right? It is bringing in the data that we need, the snapshot. All right, beautiful. All right, so let's run IWM. And IWM, again, is the Russell 2000, top 2,000 small cap companies within the NASDAQ. So let's go ahead and run it. All right, IWM is working as well. So IWM data is coming in, and it's working. A little bit more parity here. All right, beautiful. So our IWM data is working and it's still bringing in very, very comprehensive data. And then now let's run mini SPY. Oh, okay. So it has an error here. So I'm glad we have an error. We have an error because we can't find XSP, and that's mini SPY, the mini S&P 500. So what I want to do is come back to Cloud Code. I appreciate that, but I need you to fix this. Review, and let's fix. Let's run a few of C curls via terminal command in order to find out the proper request parameter and parameter. Then let's fix it. All right, beautiful. So we're going to fix this issue that we're having here with XFP because we couldn't find it with the script. So now we just need to make sure we are finding the asset correctly. All right, perfect. And I really do appreciate y'all for joining in and being here with us. We aim to be able to do videos like this on the daily. Again, if I'm not here, I'm in Twitch, but primarily I am going to be rocking with y'all a little bit more. And we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff today, right? So I do recommend y'all to stick in and be with us to be able to get this work in. So let me look at the code while it's doing that. And let's see if there's something that we can notice that is missing here. Let's look at the code. All right, let's look at the code. Now let's see if there's something that we're missing that I can spot that Claude is missing. So we're having a problem with bringing in XSP, and that's mini SPY. Give me a second. We're analyzing the out the money, in the money. All right. The snapshot. Okay. So let's see. Test the link. Oh, so I didn't go to school for this. This is something that I went to school for finance and political science, right? I didn't go to school for computer science or software design or AI age or anything like that. Like I picked this up later on in life. So as far as like being able to like my thing is certifications and like being able to understand the underlying code itself. So that was my path. My path wasn't being able to go to school like most people and do this. No. But if you do want to, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of great schools out there that, okay, come on. Here we go. All right, we figured it out. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So we figured out what the issue was with XSP options. So we're bringing in the stock, okay? So we see here a lot more puts than calls, the current price. Okay, the option contract. All right, I love it. So this is working. All right, beautiful. So we have for IWM, QQQ, SPY, and XSP. That's bringing in everything that we need. Right. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to start submitting trades, right? All right. Now let's create a script so we can process a, oh, wait, let's create a script so we can create a script so we can confirm the 0 DTE option availability for both calls and puts across strikes, OTM and ITM for QQQ, SPY, and SPY, IWM, and XSP. So what I want to do here, okay, that's the same endpoints. We're just being a little bit more meticulous. But I went to FSU. you know, but again, I didn't go to school for this. This is something that I did later on in life. And I would just say my schools are Udemy, YouTube, and boot camps, right? On how I learned how to be able to get to the point I am right now. But again, I'm not an expert. This is something that I'm still learning every day. I'm still becoming more and more comfortable with being able to algo trade, right? Like right now, let me show you an example of a bot that we have. And again, we do have like 20 bots that we've created. Twin baby. So I want to get to this point because most of these bots have to be updated anyway if they're not already updated. Right. So this is an algorithmic trading bot, and this bot trades. It'll be great if it's set it in the beginning, but I'm pretty sure this bot trades SPY. Hold on, let's look. So this bot trades who? Oh, SPY. So I was right. So this bot trades SPY. It trades between 9:32 and 11:28 a.m. This bot has a strategy that catches the panic reversals using RSI. What is RSI? RSI is a momentum to be able to let us know. I'm also a learner. Oh, most definitely. I think all of us in life need to be learners, right? All of us need to be consistently learning, consistent being able to get better, consistently being able to improve ourselves. And that's why I got here. And I think, and I'm very glad of where I got. Now it's just a matter of being able to continue this momentum. Kind of ironic here, right? So RSI lets us know if something is overbought or oversold, and ATR is average true range to let us know if there's momentum behind it. So what the strategy does is being able to connect ATR and RSI and ATR to be able to find signals. It trades between 9:32 and 11:28 Hogwarts trading time. This bot, I made this kind of Harry Potter theme, or again, it's not needed, but I just made a Harry Potter theme because I can. The asset is SPY 0 DTE. It only trades one trade per day. It can only buy anything between $5 and $88. This is the position sizing, and this is how we exit the contract. And this is the actual bot, right? The bot file. And again, the bot file is built on Python. Here's the libraries that I use, right? Pandas is like the Excel for Python. So being able to process data a lot quicker, right? Pandas market data is letting the bot know when the market is open or closed. Numpy is the Python calculator, right? And this is how we get the API request, right? So, and if you want to see the actual bot in motion, here it is right here. Right, so it's past its time. It's 11:38 right now, so it's 10 minutes past. But I am going to be showing y'all live a bot that's going to be running and actually trading once we update. And as you can see, this one is running on Alpaca, right? And I have to update a few other of our bots to be able to be running on Alpaca. So you're going to see this live on how I update it. I did create this here live. If you want to go check out that video, it's here on the channel. But let's keep going. So I'm going to stop it. Now we're going to come back here. Test the 0 DTE availability. Let's grab that. And then now let's go run it. Python. And we're testing 0 DTE availability. So what's 0 DTE? 0 DTE are option contracts that expire the same day. So these are contracts that allows us to be able to catch on momentum moves, whether up or downward trend for either SPY, QQQ, IWM, or mini SPY. So it found contracts for SPY. Beautiful. Call contracts in the money. Perfect. The puts. QQQ availability test. It found it. 95. Okay, beautiful. Perfect. Okay, perfect. So we found all of them. What I want to do is, can you add a liquidity check to the script so we can gauge this as well? All right, in just a few more moments after it adds the liquidity check, we're actually going to submit a trade programmatically via API. Programmatically API, same thing. My fault. I didn't mean to be redundant there. So we're going to submit a trade programmatically to Alpaca in order to see how well this works. So I'm excited how this is going to do, and I think we're closer and closer to being able to update our bots to have it run on Alpaca. So if you all do have any other questions, please let me know. All right, beautiful. It's updating that. Let's go get the path real quick so we can get our command. All right, perfect. Testing availability. And just I want to add the liquidity because this is something that we have to be mindful of. And what is liquidity? It's us being able to buy and sell an asset without risk of it being expiring worthless, right? So you don't want to buy something and not being able to sell it, and you don't want to go buy something, sell something, right? And nobody's there to be able to take it off your hands, right? So we're going to check the liquidity check. Beautiful. So we're going to run it. It's fetching the SPY data. All right, let's look. Now this should be a little bit more comprehensive. All right, bid and ask, put. Liquidity's excellent. This is for SPY. Excellent. I love seeing that. All right, liquidity's good for the puts and QQQ. Let's look at the liquidity. Excellent. Good for a little bit out of the money, but at the money and in the money. Excellent, but a little bit out of the money. Kind of slipping a little bit. Puts in the money. Excellent, good. Moderate. Our first moderate. So that's crazy. So I need to be mindful of that. Again, out of the money. Excellent across the board. I love that. IWM. This is going to be kind of rough, right? Good, excellent. Oh, really? Excellent. Oh, excellent. Okay. IWM, excuse me. Oh, moderate. I told you. IWM is really not as liquid as the other ones. Okay. And then mini SPY. Moderate. Yeah. Moderate. No market. That's crazy. So we need to be mindful for that. No market. That's crazy. So what I want to do is I want to double check these IWM numbers and just to make sure, XSP numbers, just to make sure it's good and accurate before we proceed, because we do have strategies based off this. Review, and let's double check this data and make sure that XSP data is accurate regarding liquidity and the option data. All right, so we're going to double check that. Then after this, we're going to be creating a script in order for us to actually start submitting trades to Alpaca. So again, we're moving along. This is a lot more comprehensive than I liked it to be, but that's okay, right? Because we're going through all of the data and making sure we're Gucci. So what I want to do, let's swing over back to our Alpaca. And so we can go to orders, and then we're going to create an order. Place a new order for the given account. An order must be rejected if the account is, the order may be rejected if the account is not authorized for trading or if the tradable balance is insufficient to fill. All right, beautiful. That's what I want to see. All right, so what we're going to do is copy this. Again, we're using Python. As you can see, there's a lot more different languages: C++, Coder, Go, HTTP, Java, JavaScript, JSON, Colton, Object-C, OCaml, PowerShell, R, Swift, right? So a lot more languages you can use Alpaca for, so that's why it's popular, but we're going to be using Python. All right, so what we're going to do is create an order. So we're going to copy all this. All right, 2 seconds. While I'm waiting for the output, let me go grab some water real quick. 2 seconds. All right, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. All right, let's go back to cursor. All right, confirmed. It's not after hours, bro. It is not after hours. It is 11:45 a.m. EST. Double check your time and make sure you're good. And also make sure we're doing this correct before we proceed to the next step. All right, so while that's doing that, I just want to go look at this API docs just one more time because I noticed something. All right, hold on. Let's just make sure we get the schema too, because this part I want to make sure that there's no question because we're actually going to be submitting the orders, right? So if we're going to be submitting the orders, I want to make sure that it's Gucci and there's no problems. All right, good. All right, good. All right, so we have the header. All right, perfect. All right, perfect. So I was right. So let me go ahead and copy all this. I wish there was a copy button because some API docs, what you can do is just hit copy and then it'll copy all the page for you, right? But it's all right. What I want to do is just copy what we need. Let's go ahead and copy it. Give us a second. Oh, I'm going to come grab that in a bit. Get the response as well. Just make sure we're a bit more comprehensive with this one because, again, we're submitting orders. So I want to make sure we have more than enough, right? More than enough. All right, beautiful. I'm going to paste you there. And then what I also want to grab is the example. All right, beautiful. All right, perfect. Now let's update the script and make sure correctly done. Then we're going to start to create a script to submit an order for a SPY 0DTE. We are going to submit the order, confirm it has been filled, watch the order for 12 seconds, then exit. We are going to do this limit order and limit sell, and make sure we get comprehensive. Oh, my fault. I'm on the wrong page. Let me come back. Coding session. Okay, hold on. Confirm we get comprehensive logging both ways and throughout this process. All right, perfect. So I just submitted that. Now it should stop spazzing. Stop spazzing. There you go. All right, so now it's going to do that. And then we're going to submit our orders. And I gave it the API documents that we brought in from Alpaca's API docs in order to submit the order. A day order is eligible for execution. Okay, okay. So it has all the information that it needs in order to submit the order. Oh, wait. Let me make sure it puts it in the right script because, again, we're submitting our orders and the trades are going to go here. Okay, put the trade examples here. Now proceed. All right, beautiful. All right, we are making our way along this process. So what we've done so far is we checked the market data. We've checked the strike option data. We've checked the availability of 0DTE options. Now we're going to actually submit an order to Alpaca programmatically right? Monitor the position and then actually make sure we close the position. So I'm super excited on what we're going to be doing here. I can close you out because I don't need you here. What I do need is I want to make sure that when we actually open the positions, I can see it. I would show y'all here, but there's security information here, right? And again, one of the biggest things that you want to make sure you do when it comes to, like, you don't share anything that could be a security issue. All right, beautiful. We're going to make this executable. What I'm going to do is I have to switch folders real quick because here I'm in the connections folder. So I had to do hit CD, go back to the main one, and then now go to trades. And then now let's grab the 0DTE trade, run it. Oh man. Oh, wait, hold on. Why isn't it working? Review, and let's fix the issue. So that's why we're doing this now. We're getting all the bugs out of the way now, right? What happened to your Schwab implementation? The Schwab one, I had to take it down because I'm still working on it. There's a couple of things that I had to switch up for the Schwab, but I'm going to redo it. So for the Thinkorswim one, I just found out that it doesn't have paper trading. Thinkorswim is only live, right? So what I was doing before, I was under the impression that the Schwab one or Thinkorswim is able to paper trade, but it doesn't paper trade, right? And that's why I had to switch over to Alpaca, because Alpaca gives us paper trading. Alpaca gives us live trading, but Schwab is only live trading. So I am still going to be using Thinkorswim, but it isn't until one of our bots is ready for live deployment. So I'm rethinking that episode, and I'm going to bring it back once we're ready for one of these bots to go live, because all of our bots are still paper trading right now, right? So once they're ready to go live, then I'm going to be able to bring that back, and it's going to be comprehensive. Don't worry. Where we're going to go do the same thing that I did for beautiful. All right, we're in a trade right now. Hold on. We're in a trade. I can confirm the position is open. The order was filled. All right, now we're waiting. All right, this feedback could be a lot better. I'm not going to hold you. And then we're submitting the sell. And then we're waiting for it to fill. Hold on, we're waiting for it to fill. It hasn't filled yet. Give it a second. Okay, it's taking a while for it to fill. You know why? Because we bought super out of the money. Super out of the money. We bought 5 cents, bro. That's super out of the money. All right, it didn't fill. So what I want to do is I'm going to sell it on my end. And then I'm going to come back here. And then what I'm going to say, I'm just going to highlight everything. Give me one. I'm going to come back to your question. Give me 1 second. GD, I'm going to come back to your question, and then so we can really talk about this. Hold on. Okay, so paste this. So now I'm going to say, all right, it was partially successful. First, we need to figure out why the sell isn't working. Also, the feedback for the UX, user experience, and user interface could be a lot better regarding the P&L when the position is opening, etc. So we can not just see words on the screen. Let's fix the issue and then improve the logging so we can better understand what is going on. All right, beautiful. All right, GD, my fault. So yeah, I'm going to get back to Thinkorswim, but right now I had to take it down because then I figured out it wasn't until like mid-episode I was like, okay, why can I submit paper trading? Like, why is everything only going to our live account? Thinkorswim does have paper trading, but you can only do it via the desktop. You can't do it programmatically, so that's why I had to take it down and just switch over to Alpaca. I was going to use Tradier, but Tradier has a 15-minute delay. So what does that mean for 0DTE strategies is that everything's going to be a lot slower. So it really doesn't allow us to properly gauge if the strategy is effective or not. There was trading desks, or excuse me, Trading Station told us that you needed $10,000. That's kind of crazy. You needed 10K in their account in order for them to give you API keys, which I thought was kind of ridiculous. And I was like, bro, why do I have to give you $10,000 in order for me to make you money? Because you make money on commissions too, right? Which I thought was kind of stupid. So I had a little argument with them. Who else? And then Tasty Trades doesn't have paper trading. Fidelity doesn't have paper trading. So I just stuck with Alpaca. I've always was using Alpaca before. I was like, you know what? Let me just stick with it and just double down and really understand this endpoint. All right, so we're going to run this again. Cloud Code just updated what we told it to update so I can get better feedback. All right, beautiful. Don't this look a little bit better than just words on the screen? Don't this look a little bit better? Okay, let me make sure the position is open. All right, position is open. All right, the order did fill. Now we're waiting for it. Okay, it closed. Okay, beautiful. So is it actually work now? So let's check it. This is when we're searching for the position. This is when we're submitting the order, and the order submitted. And then we're waiting for the order to fill. We got the order to fill. Now we're holding the position for 12 seconds. This could be better. But I want to make that better afterwards. And then the current P&L, we got in at 39. We closed it at 37. It was a $2 loss. Submit the close order. Waiting for the close order. And then verifying it's closed. Okay, then final. We got in at 39. We got out at 37. A $2 loss. Right? That's fine. We're testing right now. So we're not trying to make money. We're testing. All right, beautiful. So I think this is better. But I think the in position, this one could be a lot better. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create one for QQQ. Now let's create one for QQQ. We need the position feedback logging to be a lot better than what it is now. Everything else is good, but hey, if you can make it better, let's do it. Proceed to create the one for QQQ. All right, here. Beautiful. So now we're going to get the QQQ one done. All right, so we saw that we can submit the trade programmatically. We saw that we can monitor the position programmatically, and we saw that we can close the trade programmatically. So this is dope. Now I want to test a different asset. We're going to be testing QQQ, and QQQ is the top 100 tech companies within the NASDAQ. We just tested SPY. So this is dope, man. Like, we're actually making great strides being able to get this done, and also being able to make sure that Alpaca works for us without any shadow of a doubt, right? So I have 3 more scripts that we're going to create like this. We're creating the QQQ one now. We have IWM, and then we have XSP or mini SPY that we're going to be doing. So if y'all do have any questions while we're working through this, let me know and I will answer it. But I do appreciate all the questions that I've been getting from Pavreen, from GD, I'm sorry. I really do appreciate y'all. But if you do have any other questions, let me know. All right, beautiful. Now we have the QQQ one. All right, let's go see the improvements that it made, if there were any improvements. All right, run it. All right, beautiful. Wait, the order. Okay, the order is open. It bought it super cheap. Profit loss. Okay, we're in the position. We're still down a bit. Now we're waiting for the order to fill. Okay, we're waiting for the order to fill, but I don't think it's going to fill because, again, it bought it super out of the money. And what is out of the money? It bought it further away from the current price. Yes, super out of the money. Okay, the order filled. And then we close. All right, beautiful. So that worked perfectly. All right, great. Now let's create one for IWM and XPX. Create their own scripts individually in the same spot. And let's build on what we have done here. All right, perfect. All right, we're almost to the point we're going to be updating our bots. I still have a couple more tests that I'm going to be doing. Like right now, we're running the buy orders individually. I also want to simulate them. Like we're running multiple bots at the same time. So I also want to simulate that and see how well that works before I give it the stamp. Okay, so get all orders. Get order. Okay, so the next one we're going to be using is the get order by client ID, get order by ID, positions, get all positions, close a, get a position. Okay, exercise position, portfolio history, accounts, no, assets, get option contracts. We already did that. Corporate account, no, orders. All right, bet. Beautiful. We have IWM. Let's go get IWM. Copy. All right, perfect. We have IWM. Let's go run that now. Now creating the X. Okay. All right, beautiful. It said, okay, IWM. That's super cheap. You bought it for $1, bro. All right, let's make sure the order filled. Order did fill. All right, perfect. We bought it for $1. We lost $1. That's crazy. Excuse me, bought it for two. Wait, this doesn't make sense. We bought it for $2. We lost $1. We lost 50% because this buying is super cheap, like super cheap. That's fine. All right, now we're on our last test with the ETFs. And then after we do that, I'm going to do dual testing ETFs, right? QQQ and IWM, just to make sure that works. And then after that, we're going to do simulated with being able to see, okay, we're going to have 8 bots running, right? And then all these 8 bots are going to be submitting orders, and all these 8 bots are going to be managing their orders. So how is that going to work? Let's copy this. Beautiful. You can do that. And then let's come here. Let's paste. All right. Oh, look at this. Our first failed order. Let's see why this failed. All right. Review. XSP did fail. Let's find out why and properly fix it. Let's find out what the issue is and go ahead and fix this. Let's find out what the issue is. Let me see. Let's see. This is mini spy. Let's look at the code. Let's look at the code and see what issues we're having here. Let's look at the code and see what issues we're having here. Info success warning. Okay. Find liquid. Okay, what is the problem we're having? We're having a little bit of issues with XSP. Everybody else flew through there. Okay. Okay. We're just having a bit of issues. I'm just going through the code right now to be able to see if I can spot anything that's out of the usual. Okay, waiting for the fill. I think it's going to be up here. I think it's supposed to be like $ XSP, right? Okay, the symbol. I think the symbol is supposed to be $ XSP. Okay, you got it to work. All right, beautiful. Let's go check. Let's go check if you actually did fix it. Let's check if this was actually fixed and this works, partner. Let's see if this works, partner. And you lied to me, partner. XFP only has market data available, no order execution. Alpaca supports trading for SPY, QQQ, IWM. Data only, no trading. Are you sure? Are you sure that XFP mini SPY we cannot trade on Alpaca? Let's triple check and make sure. All right, because I don't trust it. I'm not going to hold you. I think you got some issues. Because what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to actually go check if I could submit the trade my damn self. XSP. Oh, holy shit. He may be right. Yeah, me be right. Hold on. Yeah, because what I'm seeing is that there's no shares. It's SPX. SPY. Okay, there is SPY. Why can't I find XSP? There's no XSP, y'all. I think, okay, this is the one time it's not hallucinating. It's not lying to me, y'all. There is no XSP. Can I become a billionaire by making these bots if you agree that I work with you? That's interesting. I don't guarantee anything. I don't make bots for anyone because I think that's a slippery slope. What I do show y'all here is how to create bots yourselves, right? How to be able to have your own strategies and being able to, at the end of the day, create something that makes sense for you, right? Everybody has their own tolerance level. Everybody has their own risk level, for lack of better words, right? Everybody has what they like to see that's specific to them. When I'm creating bots here, I want to be able to make them that's a little bit more risky, right? But I still show you step by step on how I do it and how this works. Okay. Data only, data only. XFP is correctly updated and working. It's only data only. That's crazy. All right, that's fine. Okay. Now we know. Now we know. All right. Let's proceed to create a script that tests dual buying and monitoring and selling for QQQ and SPY. Let's make sure we use. All right, what I'm going to bring in is the order ID. Let me show y'all the order ID I'm talking about. So get order by order ID, retrieve a single order specific by the client order ID. This allows us to be able to run multiple bots because they're all going to have their specific order ID, right? So what I'm going to do is copy this, copy all of it. All right, beautiful. And then we're going to paste it here. And I'm also going to get this little Python example and then paste it here. Get order by order ID. What I want to do is copy this. Copy. All right, let's copy, excuse me, and then paste that there. I'm also going to grab the Python example, paste it. What I'm also going to do, replace order by ID. That's interesting. Let me just get that. Replaces a single order, update parameters. Each parameter overrides the corresponding attributes of the existing order. The other attributes remain the same as the existing order. A successful return. I don't want this. This is a slippery slope. Position. Close a position, get an open position. I think we already have that. All right, beautiful. So I have what I want here. What I want to do is go back to Cloud Code. As y'all can see, it's spazzing. Let me just go ahead and hit enter so I can stop spazzing. So see, it's about to compact, right? So what does compacting mean? Compacting mean it's going to take everything that we've been working on, being able to condense it into small files, throw it in its memory, and then once it goes to 0, it's going to recall everything that we did with this first sprint. Then we're going to jump over to sprint 2. Okay, how can I start? I would say I do it when I say step by step, I get really granular with y'all, right, on how to be able to create algo trading bots. What I would say is go watch a few of our other videos on how to not necessarily just get started, right, but how to create a strategy, how to use different platforms to create a strategy, whether it's TradingView, whether it's creating a strategy by yourself with these different AIs that's possible and it's out there, right? Or being able to make sure that you understand what you're doing. I think that's one of the first things to be able to make sure that you understand is, okay, what's the difference between RSI and EMA? And those videos are coming soon where I'm going to really break those down between what's RSI, what's EMA, what's VWAP, what's BB, what's ATR, what's VMA, right? Where we can really understand this granularly. So that those videos are coming, right? But to answer your question, how you get started is just go ahead and get started, right? If you have an idea on how to create a strategy, what I would say is, again, go watch the videos on how to be able. So I am going to be creating a Discord, but the Discord is going to come maybe sometime next year. And with our videos that we create here, they're a bit comprehensive, right? That anyone could get started. Okay, hold on. We're submitting an order for dual. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Oh man. Now it's tripping. Hold on. Give me 1 second. What is this? I can't even confirm if this is happening, y'all. Where is it? There it is. All right, not all of the orders filled. You see, we didn't get the orders to fill. Let me see. Where are you buying at though? Whoa. Like you buying super out of the money. All right, let's review. Let's copy. All right, it's still compacting. And what is compacting? Being able to, I already talked about that. So it's compacting and it's starting a new session. Oh, so I'm building a Discord. And this Discord is going to be live with y'all. I want to say in the next couple of weeks. So we could talk a little bit more. Okay. Boom. Review, and let's fix the issues here and make sure we get this properly working. All right, bet. Because number one, the orders aren't filling. I think it only filled for one, if that. I can see the issue. The buy orders are submitted at the ask price but not filling. This is the paper trading environment. Let me check the status. That is correct. And adjust the entry limit. Oh, it's having. Is it possible to create a strategy using sub 1 minute time frames such as tick by tick chart, range chart, and maybe others? Yes, but I'll be careful with sub minute time frames because number one, you may get a lot of noise. Right, 1 minute is fast enough because all of our strategies is based off 1 minute. So 1 minute is fast enough. If you're talking about sub minute, I would just be careful on where you go. I think you might as well just stop at like 30 seconds. Anything quicker than that, again, you better have a way to be able to filter out the noise or to confirm the actual signal, whether it's a bearish or bullish signal, and to confirm the momentum, the direction that particular trend is going at. So yes, you can. And I'll try it here with y'all to be able to let you know that you can do it. But I don't recommend doing that because number one, you have to make sure when you're actually trading the data, actually trading this bot or the strategy, that whomever your broker is can give you that sub minute data. So if you can't get the sub minute data live, it's kind of a moot point to be able to make a strategy with sub minute data. So that's why I just stop at 1 minute, right? Because yeah, you can probably get it for historic data, but getting it live is going to be kind of tricky. So to answer your question, that was kind of a long way of answering it, but yes, you can. But I would just be careful and just making sure that the sub minute data, you can get it live and not just historic. All right, let's run it again. Let's run it again. Let's see how well this works. Let's see if it submits. Oh, okay. Both of the orders submitted. We're in both of the positions for QQQ and SPY now. Why is there an error? See this error? Okay, so the positions is waiting for it to fill, but why is there an error? I want to figure out what this error is. Oh, error because I'm in the negative? That's what the error is? Order filled, order filled. All right, beautiful. All right, both the order filled, it looks like we're just kind of flat. But I noticed that there's an error. All right, review the following. We noticed that there is an error in the position monitoring. Let's find out why. There is one before we proceed. All right, we're almost there. Did that answer your question, GD? Let me investigate the position monitoring error. Oh, you know what I can do? I thought you already gave you the get position. Get all positions, get the positions. Good, the opposite positions are already closed. I can see the issues looking at the output. The position monitoring showed the P&L during the hold, but the final monitoring showed $0 for both trades. Let me check the actual fills. All right, beautiful. What is the last strategy that you created, and what language do you use? Oh, and Schwab does give you Thinkorswim does give you sub-minute data. So, little heads up there. I don't know if you know that, but Thinkorswim does give you sub-minute data, and it's a bit comprehensive. The only thing is you can't paper trade with them programmatically, right? Like you got to paper trade via the desktop. So if you don't mind doing that, I mean, yeah, it can work. I found the issue. The issue is that the limit sale orders were canceled and the market orders were resubmitted, but the code is still looking good at the cancel items. If the final P&L calculations, let me check what the market sale orders were. The problem is that the limit orders don't fill and the code cancel them and then resubmits new market orders. But these new IDs, however, we can call the dual summary filled orders, exit orders, and the exit order should contain the exact. Okay. Flummoxing. I'm flummoxed too, bro. First, let's figure out why we are not able to get the limit orders to work, and then let's fix it because for our bots we use limit orders. And then let's fix the position monitoring issue. See, what I'm going to do is let's go back to these API docs, right? That's why we have it open. Let's go back to the API docs. So get all positions, get an open position, retrieve an account open position for the given stock or asset. All right, let's get this over to you. I'm also going to give you this right here. What I'm also going to do is close the position. Close this, okay. And then, beautiful, we're going to give you all that lovely stuff, fam, because we may be missing something. And then what I'm also going to do is get this Python script, paste it here. Now you're going to start spazzing. What else do we need? Portfolio history? Nope. Account activities, retrieve account activity? Nope. Calendar, get the market calendar info, clock, crypto, position. Don't close. Okay. Market data? Nope. Broker API? Nope. All right. Accounts, we already have that. Get accounts. Asset, get an asset by the ID. Get a contract. Nope. Portfolio history. Do I want to give you? I don't think you need this. Retrieve the time series data about the. Oh yes, let me give you. Yes. All right. So we can stop spazzing. Oh, has additional fields. What's the additional fields? Okay, maybe you don't have that for me right now. All right, let me copy you. All right, stop spazzing, bro. Stop spazzing. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. So y'all can see what this thing is like really spazzing out right now. All right, here you go. Here you go. Stop spazzing. There it is. Stop spazzing, fam. It's done. All right, you should be Gucci. You should be running. No issues. I'll address both issues, fix the limit orders, make it more aggressive to fill, and fix the position monitoring using the specific endpoint for accurate P&L. I love it. That's kind of need to switch something up because I have a bot that trades XSP, but I just found out, okay, perfect, now I understand it. Limit orders at X and bid don't fill because they are passive. The solution is to use the mid price for the limit orders, which crosses the spread slightly and more likely to fill. Let me update the script for both fixes. I believe that TOS API, you can stream data, then you can reassemble it to create a range chart and so on. I just added the complexity to the task. Yeah, no, facts. That's what I'm saying with Thinkorswim. If you can like really just think outside the box for coding, that's when I think you're a lot more successful. Reason being so is because you can MacGyver some of these things, meaning you can get your data from Thinkorswim, you can submit your orders with Alpaca, you can get your option data from another place, right? So you can use really 5 different APIs in order to get the same solution that you need, right? But it's just a matter of making sure that oh shit, it's running it. I wanted to run it. Damn it. Did you already open the positions? Damn it. You already opened it too. All right, I'm going to run it. Let me drive the boat, man. Let me drive the boat. All right. Hold on. Hold on. Let me drive the boat. Beautiful. Let's just make sure we're good. We open the SPY position. We're getting the P&L. Wait, it's doing it sequentially. It's not doing it simultaneously. I asked for simultaneous, not sequential. Not one after the other. So the SPY order filled. And what are we doing right now? We're watching the order. All right. Oh, you're trying to fill QQQ. QQQ didn't fill. Okay. It's trying to fill QQQ, but QQQ didn't fill. Review, and we think QQQ didn't fill. Let's make sure that we're a bit more closer to ITM, but still borderline OTM. Oh damn! Wait, what? No, bitch. I was about to say, I was just almost was stuck in a position. That would have been crazy. But yes, to your point, GD, you can use Thinkorswim API for the data and then just rearrange how I see the issues that QQQ was way too far out the money. And a liquid and SPY filled at the mid price, but QQQ didn't fill. Let me adjust the option selection to pick strikes that are closer to at the money, more liquid, but still out the money. Beautiful. Yes, I agree with you. No, I already closed it. Don't worry. I'm kind of smart too. I kind of have a brain too. I already closed it, Claude. All right, thank you. Now let's go run it and make sure we're Gucci. All right, running this again. All right, SPY filled, QQQ filled, beautiful. Now we're monitoring both positions. I mean, it still filled kind of like aggressively out the money. We're monitoring both positions, which we see here we're still getting this error. What is this error for? All right, it wasn't able to close the SPY position. Why? Okay. It wasn't able to close the SPY position, and I'm still getting this error for position. So let's fix it. So All right, let me grab that because we're still getting this error too that I want to fix. Review, and let's fix the issue. And also we notice that we're still getting the following error. Let's find out why and fix it. I think it's buying contracts that are way too the fuck out the money, bro. And like these contracts, I don't have an Instagram yet, but when I do create the because I still have to do a lot. I'm not gonna hold you. I've been kind of lazy on that. Because what I have a Twitch, I have a TikTok, and I have YouTube. But I'm creating our X account. I am creating I'm not saying X, fuck that. I'm sorry. I'm creating Twitter. I'm creating Instagram. I'm creating the Facebook, and I'm also going to be creating the Discord for us. All right, so I've seen that the P&L issue SPY really did drop 20% and QQQ already closed. This is maybe due to the sell order that didn't submit. The issue is that the wash trade protection, when selling at price to equal to the current market's Alpaca blocks it as a potential wash. Solution is to sell slightly higher than the current to avoid a wash trade detection or use market orders. I don't want to use a market order, bro. We do not want to use market orders. Let's figure out how to properly use limit orders in order to do this. Now, the reason I don't want to use a market order, right? So what's the difference between a market order and a limit order? A market order is what you're paying what the market dictates now. Now, sometimes with market order, you can overpay or you can undersell, right? So who wants to do that? A limit order is what you set the price to be, right? So usually limit orders are mid prices or what you dictate the price to be, right? The issue is that Alpaca has a wash protection. The solution is to cancel all open orders before submitting the sell orders and use the X price to sell limits, crossing the spread more aggressive. Let me update the code. Okay, the position was able to close. That's kind of funny that you closed it programmatically, bro. Now let me also update the fallback before retrying. What's this fallback logic you're about to do? Yes, as soon as I drop the Discord, I will let y'all know. But right now it's still in the lab, for lack of better words. All right, let's run it now. All right, beautiful. Let's go look at if the orders were submitted. Okay, both orders were submitted. A lot better pricing with the option selection now. Now we're monitoring the positions. We're like broken even. Oh, we're up $1 on one position. Look at that. All right, beautiful. We're submitting the sell order for SPY. I'm waiting for the SPY order to be submitted. QQQ was submitted. I'm waiting for SPY to be submitted. And again, I'm being real intentional with this. Reason being so is because I have a bot that trades both SPY and QQQ and IWM and QQQ. So that's why I want to make sure that this is legit and there is an issue. And I'm waiting for not all orders were filled. Okay, you're still having an issue filling this SPY order, bro. Why? Okay. We're getting a 403 error. We're getting a 403 error. Hold on. All right. So we're getting an error, a 403 error, when closing the position. Let's find out why and fix it. I don't know why I'm getting this 403 error. I can see SPY didn't fill even at the big price. Let me check what's happening in the SPY direction. The 403 errors, the account is not eligible for uncovered contracts. uncover contract. The close position endpoint is trying to create a market order, but Alpaca's paper account has restrictions. The issue is that limit orders don't fill. We need a fallback. Let me check the current orders. The sell orders at 70 still open but not filling. The current price is 62. We need to lower the limit order and be more aggressive. Let me create a, the problem is clear. The limit order at 70 won't fill because the market has moved to 63 to 64. We need to add a final aggressive fallback. Let me update the script. This is interesting. Even when like I'm trying to submit it on the desktop side, I'm having an issue. Now let me manually close it. Oh, you just did. That's what's up. Damn, at 50 though. At 50 is like super duper aggressive, fam. Beautiful. All right, now we should run it and this should be good. And after this, we'll have our complete setup ready to go. All right, beautiful. QQQ and SPY. I see both of these just open. Now we're in the position. We're monitoring it. We're making sure we're Gucci. All right, we're in our hold time. We're holding the position for 12 seconds. Now we're submitting the orders to close the positions. QQQ has submitted the order. Now we're waiting for it to fill. We submitted it both for QQQ and SPY. Now we're just waiting for both of them to fill. And after this, we'll be thumbs up and ready to go. We're just having a bit of issues with submitting the close orders. And this is why I wanted to check it. So QQQ filled. Now I'm waiting for SPY to fill. Okay, SPY filled. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so now we are at a great point. All right, beautiful. Perfect. It worked. Now let's create one for IWM and SPY with what we learned here before we call this sprint a wrap. All right, so this is going to be the last step that we're going to do. And then after this, we'll be Gucci. I will have our Alpaca setup ready to go. And then I'm going to come back with another video on how we're going to be updating our bots to be able to use Alpaca and then potentially run a few trading sessions. Oh, it's smart. So it just copied the script instead of making another one. That's smart. That's smart. IWM. So we did a lot today. We created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 scripts with y'all in order to test in order to test Alpaca. So what I want to do right now is doing IWM, which is the Russell 2000, and SPY. Okay, both of these orders filled. Perfect. Oh, this is a lot quicker. All right, both of the orders filled. Now we're waiting for the, we're monitoring the position for the 12 seconds, and then we're going to liquidate it. All right, IWM filled. We're waiting for the orders to fill now. We submitted the close orders. Now we're waiting for them to fill. All right, once it fill, okay, orders didn't fill. We're going to retry again with a more aggressive limit order. All right, orders didn't fill. Okay, beautiful. Now orders filled. We just did a lot more aggressive. So what happened here? All right, so let's find out what happened. Why the initial orders didn't fill. Review and advise why the initial limit orders didn't fill, and double check to make sure properly closed, which I can see it. I can see that it closed. I just want to like triple check just to make sure that we're not missing anything. The initial limit order at Axe didn't fill because IWM was 23 and SPY was 13, waiting 15 seconds. The second attempt at the bid didn't fill. IWM was 22, SPY was 12, waited 10 seconds. The final aggressive limit order did fill, 16, 80% of bid, and way below the bid. The problem is that the ask and the bid and paper trading don't guarantee the fills for limit orders. We need to be more aggressive from the start. Let me check the final calculation issue and improve the strategy. Perfect. All the positions were closed. Now let me explain the issue and improve the strategy. Why the initial limit orders don't fill. The ask price doesn't guarantee the fill. Selling at the ask is a market order and needs a buyer to hit. The bid also is passive. We still need aggressive buyers. The paper trading is simulation, more realistic. Actual doesn't autofill at the posted prices. The low volume for 0 DTE for far out the money, less liquidity means harder to fill. The 3-tier strategy worked. Make more exits more aggressive from the start. Let's update both scripts with better 2-tier strategies. All right, beautiful. And this should be enabling us to be able to go. All right, perfect. Let's check it. Let's check it to see if this is working for us. All right, beautiful. Now we're running this IWM and QQQ. Our SPY filled. And I'm waiting for IWM to fill. Our SPY, we're up $1. Just waiting for IWM to fill. All right, so let me go ahead and close out this SPY, and IWM didn't fill. Okay. Review and let's fix. IWM is still having issues, and let's find the issue and fix it properly, bruh. IWM is still having a bit of issue with regards to being able to fill, but we're going to fix that. IWM buy orders, the MIG price still isn't filling after 16 seconds. Let me investigate why IWM has issues, but SPY filled immediately. Yeah, let's find out why. Interesting. The market moved from 11 to 12 to 17 to 18, but the limit order at 11 didn't fill. The paper trading quirk. Limit orders below the market doesn't backfill. The issue is IWM was submitted at 11 and the mid price was 11 to 12. The market immediately moved up in the paper trading, and then the limit buy orders at 11 won't fill if the market is now at 17, 18. The IOC, the immediate or cancel orders or make the orders more aggressive by using the ask price instead of the mid. No, you don't need to do that because that script already works. All right, that script already works. Is this one we need to get right? All right, bro. This can't be real. Review and let's fix. Seems like we're going backwards. Let's find the issue and fix it, bruh. Come on now. Don't keep the people waiting, man. Don't keep the people waiting. I need to check the IWM option selection, and it's failing now. Why it's failing? Excuse me, I just did. All right, beautiful. Now it's checking why. See, it is there. Found it. The 247 strike passes all filters. The bid size is 1 for the 246 at the money. The issue is that the filter for the bid size of greater than 5. The 246 strikes have a bid of equal 1. Let me check the selection logic more carefully. The 247 strike passes filters, but the bid 249 not. Let me recheck. Looking at the data again. Perfect. The option selection logic is selecting 247 correctly when I run it manually. The issue must be the timing that the market is moving fast. I need to cancel my order. All right, let me also update the all right, beautiful. So are you saying we Gucci now? Are you saying we Gucci now? Let's look at it. All right, beautiful. All right, both orders did fill. Now let's make sure we're able to close it, because the opening is not the problem. It's just being able to close the position. All right, both orders did close. I love it. All right, we're Gucci, man. So we were able to go from getting the market data. We're able to test out different strike prices. We're able to confirm what options are actually available on Alpaca, right? So this about wraps up what we're going to be doing here with the setup guide. What we're going to be doing next in the next video is being able to update our bots to use Alpaca. So I want to split this up so this video isn't too long. So again, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not already. We'll be back in a bit to be able to continue our work and updating our bots to use Alpaca now that we've confirmed all the information that we needed to confirm to be able to work. So it is your boy Creative. We'll be back at it again with another episode. I appreciate all y'all for joining in. Perrine, GP.